Soften your senses. Ways to become a better speaker, listener, and follower. This episode brought to you by Jefferson College and their From Tutus to Toolbelts initiative. Learn more at jeffco.edu. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am hanging out with Katie Donahue. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
So we have been in the educational realm for quite a few years. You used to be on the show all the time with us when I was at Johnstone, learning how to be better educators, how to just do well with the tools that we have available with us. And you've been taking that to a next level.
Trying to take that level to the students who don't have the opportunity to maybe experience it in their day-to-day life or don't have that person in their life that they can experience that with.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when I think about like growing up, there were a lot of things around me that I was never introduced to. I mean, even growing up in a home with a furnace and air conditioning, I didn't know anything about them. My dad he would work on some things, but he wasn't really mechanical. And so there were a lot of things we just don't always get exposed to. And so when you got into education, you recognized an opportunity to bring the skill sets that you've learned and the trades that you have developed into and expose that to people who might never encounter that on their own. And so tell me a little bit about this initiative, because I'll tell you, it's been a pretty big buzz here at the conference this year.
So the initiative probably really came from my own personal experience. My father is a plumber by trade, and so I learned a lot of hands-on aspects with him.
Yes.
And so as I progressed and got introduced to HVAC whenever I was a sophomore in high school, it was a lot of support from my parents. It was a lot of pushback. They didn't look at it as that's a man's career because I had done plumbing with my father.
Oh, sure.
So the idea of introducing this trade to women in HVAC at a younger age, the 5th through 8th grade range, is something that I felt was very important and vital to get them interested in the trade, because if you wait till they get older, they have that career path that they think they want to do, or they have friends who want to do something and say like, oh, well, I'll do that with you, because maybe they are not sure as to what they want to do.
Yes.
And I'm not a sit behind a desk kind of person. I am a hands-on, get out in the field. I don't like having someone checking up on me, so to speak. So I liked the going out, and you never know what you're going to experience. You never know. Every job is the same, but it is so different. And I loved that opportunity and that aspect of the job. And then I took it back to trying to give the opportunity to girls to be exposed to something that they're not normally exposed to.
Okay, so tell me about the name of the program and how it works, because I've actually seen some photos on social media, and I went, is that a little girl with a torch in her hand?
So the name of the program is From Tutus to Toolbelts, and the idea is that girls dance and they wear a tutu, and as they grow up, they have changed that tutu out for a tool belt.
Oh, wow.
Which I did dance whenever I was a young girl, so it kind of fit my story as well.
Yeah.
I didn't really wear I didn't wear tutus, but I danced. So that's where the name came from, and it's a visual thing. So girls, whenever they hear the name of it, it kind of gives a visual thing of like, oh, as opposed to just.
Yeah, wow. Because the tutu represents something.
Yes, it represents what you wear as a child.
Yeah.
And you grow up, and so you change that tutu out for a tool belt. It's not saying that you can't still wear a tutu and be girly. It's just
there's another option.
You now have a career, a vocation that you can pursue that is going to provide stability in your life and food on the table.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so how long have we been doing this program? How many are getting involved? And tell me about some of the things that you do in this program.
So whenever I first did this, I think it was summer of 2022 is whenever I did it. And the whole idea was I was just going to introduce it to the faculty and staff on campus where I work, just kind of get an idea as to what the interest would be. And it filled up very, very quickly. Within like 4 hours, I was booked. And I was only wanting to do 12 girls in a session because I wanted to keep safety a huge
definitely.
aspect of it, especially with the age. They don't go through the traditional safety that our students go through. So I need to make sure that they were protected. So it filled up very quickly to the point where I was like, I'm going to open up another section for the following weekend. So we had about 24 girls come through in that first go around, if you will. They brazed, they fabricate sheet metal. They learned how to do snips, and they use nips and hole cutters, and they wire up a very basic electrical circuit that has some limit switches in it, and they wire up a light bulb. So they actually go through stripping the wire and putting on spade connectors, and then this is a switch, it's open, it's closed, this is a load, and that a little bit of education to go along with it, so that way they realize whenever my mom tells me to go turn on the light, I'm actually closing that switch, and I'm allowing that path for electrons to flow. You gotta be kidding. So I'm 5th to 8th grade. Yes. So it was a huge thing. I actually just did 4 sessions on this a week ago. Yeah. And I had 58 girls sign up for it. You got to be kidding. So there's a significant interest. There's a huge interest in it. And it's fabulous because we have local industry that is coming in and helping me. Because the first 2 sessions I did, it was me and my adjuncts trying to figure out what the hey are we doing. So I have our sheet metal union and our local pipe fitters are in there. Ameren, our utility, some of our utilities are sponsoring us. A couple local businesses are coming in, and they are the ones who are running the sessions for me, which takes a huge stress load off of me, and it makes it easier for me to do it. So yeah, I mean, I hear that and I go, I want to be a part of that. I mean, just think of the initiatives that can come out of that. You're 100% right. Even if you're just introducing these fundamentals, because we don't take, and a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to talk about home ec. I want to talk about home economics. We don't teach fundamentals. We don't teach how to operate a checkbook. We don't teach if we could just teach someone that there's a filter in their house that cleans their air, that needs regular maintenance, and it's part of home ownership. If we can start teaching how electricity works in a house and what's going on, even if they don't adopt it as a career, just think about understanding that as an adult without having to learn it as an adult. And that's something I tell the girls and my own students. I'm like, guys, even if you just take this class and you never pursue it as a career, your home has an HVAC system. Your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your aunts, you'll be the most popular relative in your family because they are looking to you for your expertise. And guidance as to, hey, this is what is going on. What do you recommend I do? Is it something as simple as changing out a filter dryer? Is my condensate drain dry? And that's why I've got water leaking all over the place. So just basic stuff. So just trying to give them those tools is something. I don't plan on changing the world with this, but it's one of those, if I can get 1 or 2 girls over the next few years to say, hey, I was at this event and it was really cool, and that's why I'm coming into this, that's a success for me. Well, we have at this point in our industry, we're at a beautiful place where people are finally starting to remove old stigmas and remove old barriers. And we have new generations, new demographics of people coming into our industry that are going, oh my gosh, we're being accepted into an industry that at one point didn't really encourage that. And so now we have so many women coming into the industry, and I'm telling you, there's some guys that are getting very intimidated because a woman is very meticulous with things that men sometimes are not with. They're in general. Now I am kind of generalizing, but many women, ladies, are very analytical. Yes. Right? So we're finding great success in opening up our industry to women and young ladies to look at and go, you know what? Here are some other jobs that you may have never been introduced to before that you might be incredibly successful at, that you have an unlimited amount of freedom, and that you can really make as much money as you could want to. Yes. And so I'm very excited about that. I don't know that in the history of our industry, we've ever been at a point that we've been more accepting for change than we are right now, because so many aspects of our industry is changing, and I like it. It's definitely a career that you don't get bored in because there's always something changing. And like I tell the tours that come through the school, it's like there is a job in HVAC for every single person. Yes. You just have to find that niche that fits you. It's not all about toting tool bags or working outside in the sun and the heat. Like, we have engineers, we have tool design. You have there's so many different aspects that you can go into. Marketing, sales, ownership. There you go. Yeah, distribution, manufacturing. And we don't teach any of that. We just teach the maintenance aspect in the house and the installation of the equipment, because that's what
That's what's been done.
It's been and it's a lot of it's in a lot of
it's always been.
Exactly.
That's the way it's always been because no one's ever challenged the norm.
Exactly.
And now that we challenge the norm, we go, well, why were we doing that?
Yep.
And no one has an answer.
Nope. But yeah, there's a job in HVAC for everyone. You just have to find your niche that fits you.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah.
All right. So how often are you meeting?
So we did the 2 sessions in 2022, the summer, and then I did one in the fall. I had a Girl Scout troop contact me, and it was just for their troop specifically that I did it.
Yes.
And then I got sick in first part of 2023, so I was out for like a year. So these 4 sessions I did 2 weeks ago or a week ago
back into the
was the first one back. So I actually have been reached out and contacted by a Girl Scout troop like, hey, can we do this for you? And I'm like, I'm looking at my contractors like, what can you guys do? And with our cooling season coming up, they're kind of like, well, we're not quite sure. So I had hosted them initially on the weekend because that works for the school because I am using my lab space for that. And as an instructor, what do I do with my students? And so it worked out on the weekend. And then I was like, well, hey, it's spring break. I can use that time period where my students are off campus to use the facilities exactly, not have to try to shuffle and schedule things around it. So that's kind of what I struggle with is I don't want to take time away from my
program.
From my program, but I also don't want to take time away from my contractors who are then taking time away from their family.
I get that. Yeah.
So trying to find that balance that works for everybody is a challenge. So
I'm seeing a lot of industry support out here. I'm hearing ears right now opening up going, I think I'm interested in that. So let's talk about ways that the industry can encourage this and participate and how they can connect if they'd like to learn more.
So there's always people who are looking to participate or, and as a contractor, it's more of a financial or a donation of time as opposed to showing up and just being a participant of it. And that's probably one of the biggest obstacles, but also one of the biggest aspects that help me because if they don't show up to say, hey, I want to do a sheet metal session or I want to do something with piping or black iron, that's on me to fill that space for the girls as they go through there. So having that donation of time is really a huge benefit for people or benefit for me as we do this program.
Absolutely. So, have you explored any opportunities with like Explore the Trades or some of the other organizations that are starting to focus on some of our younger students and introducing them into the trades?
I have not really. There's a Tierra trade thing that's out there that they're introducing younger girls to it. I don't remember. Do you know the name? Okay.
No, I don't.
So there's a couple that I have looked at online, but I really haven't reached out to contact them. Bring back the trades. I've talked with Steve a few times.
Absolutely.
But again, he's more geared towards like college age.
Definitely.
He's not the younger one, but you still have to reach out to the kids. You can't just ignore the older demographic.
No, I absolutely love this. So for those that are listening, that have heard that bell ring and would like to be more involved, I highly encourage you to explore that opportunity and to rethink about ways that we can introduce our trade into different generations and different demographics. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing you're doing, Katie.
Thank you. It's definitely been an enjoyable experience, and the feedback I'm getting from the girls and the moms has been really great. And probably one really common question I get is, how much longer are you going to do this, or when are you going to stop? I will stop whenever my classes stop filling up. Whenever the demand stops, then I'll stop. But until then, I'm going to keep giving those girls the opportunity.
Absolutely. I respect it. All right, Katie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks.
See you later.